You can always tell who's winning, not by who's talking, but by who's working. The loud ones chase recognition, the quiet ones chase mastery. See, when you plant a seed, it makes no noise, but when the tree falls, the whole forest hears it. Most people are busy talking about their seeds, their dreams, their goals, their potential. But the wise? They're underground, planting, watering, waiting. Because they know when your roots are deep, you don't have to fear the wind, and you never have to explain your growth. Everyone wants to be noticed, but the great irony of life is that the ones who stop trying to be seen are the ones who eventually stand out. There's a power in obscurity, in working quietly while the world scrolls by. Because when you're hidden, you're protected from comparison, from validation, from ego. The seed underground isn't jealous of the flower, it's too busy becoming the tree. So don't fear being unseen. Fear being unprepared when your time comes. You know, most people spend their whole lives trying to prove something. To their friends, their family, their co-workers, even to strangers who don't really care. They tell everyone what they're going to do, how successful they'll become, what they're working on, as if words could build credibility faster than results. But the truth is, success doesn't come from convincing others. It comes from transforming yourself. You don't need to shout your worth from the rooftops when your growth itself becomes undeniable. Success is not something you chase or announce. It's something you attract by the person you become. When I was young, I spent a lot of time talking. I'd tell people about my big plans, my dreams, what I was going to accomplish. But after a while, I realized something uncomfortable. Nobody really cared. They'd nod politely, say, "Good for you," and move on. And then I met a man who changed my perspective. He said, "Don't tell me your plans, show me your results." That struck me deeply. Because the truth is, people don't believe what you say, they believe what they see. From that moment on, I decided I would spend less time talking and more time becoming. I started working in silence, reading, learning, refining my habits, developing my discipline. I wanted my results to do the talking. And before long, I didn't need to explain anything. My progress spoke for itself. You see, there's a quiet power in personal growth. It's magnetic. When you commit to becoming better, sharper, wiser, more capable, you begin to attract opportunities that match your new level of awareness. It's almost like the universe starts to whisper back, you've leveled up. Let's see what we can send your way. The more you work on yourself, the less you need to prove. Your results, your presence, your confidence, they'll say it all for you. The key is to redirect your energy. Every minute you spend trying to convince someone of your value is a minute stolen from becoming more valuable. Instead, focus that energy on learning something new every few months. Pick up a skill that sharpens your mind or adds to your craft. Read books that challenge your perspective. Listen to people who've done what you aspire to do. I used to dedicate 30 minutes a day just to learning. No distractions, no noise. And that small discipline compounded over time into a wealth of understanding that no self-promotion could ever replace. And let me give you a little secret. Set goals that no one knows about. Keep them private. Let them be between you and your future. When you achieve them, you won't need to announce it. The quiet satisfaction of knowing you built something real will be far greater than the applause of others. Because applause fades, but mastery endures. So stop trying to prove, stop performing for validation. Build, learn, grow, and let your results whisper your story. When you become the kind of person worth noticing, the world can't help but take notice. Discipline is one of those quiet forces in life that almost nobody claps for, but everyone eventually respects. It's the invisible marketing that sells your character without a single word. Most people are busy trying to be seen. posting, talking, explaining, proving. But the truth is, while they're chasing attention, the disciplined person is building something solid beneath the surface. You don't need to shout when your life already speaks. The consistent, deliberate act of doing what you said you would do, even when no one's watching, that's the real advertisement of success. I remember a time when I was young and full of ideas. I wanted success so badly, but I was always waiting for the right moment, the right mood, or a burst of motivation. I'd read books, get inspired, and then wait for inspiration to come back the next week. It never worked. One day, I heard a truth that changed me. Discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. And I realized I was carrying the heavy burden of regret more often than I was lifting the light weight of daily discipline. That's when I decided I would rather suffer the small discomfort of consistency than the crushing weight of missed opportunity. See, discipline doesn't make a lot of noise. It just gets things done. The disciplined man wakes up and reads before the day begins. He saves before he spends. He reflects before he reacts. Nobody might notice those small actions today, but in 5 years, they'll wonder how he built such a strong foundation. And he'll smile because he knows it was brick by brick, day by day, through habits that became non-negotiable. You've got to build those habits into your routine until they become part of your identity. For me, it started with 3 small disciplines. Reading something valuable every day, saving a portion of every dollar I earned, and taking 10 minutes before bed to reflect on what I learned and how I lived that day. Those 3 practices reshaped my entire future. I track my progress with brutal honesty. No excuses, no stories, just facts. If I didn't follow through, I didn't hide from it. I faced it. Because you can't manage what you won't measure. And let me tell you something else. Motivation is unreliable. It's like a guest that shows up only when it feels like it. But discipline, that's structure. It's the house that protects you even when the storm hits. Don't wait to feel ready. Build the system that keeps you moving whether you're inspired or not. When you rely on structure instead of emotion, your consistency becomes your brand. People will start to notice, not because you told them to, but because results follow you everywhere you go. So, while others are out there chasing attention, let your discipline be the loudest thing about you. Because in the long run, it's not who talks the most that wins. It's who quietly builds when no one's watching. And when the time comes, your results will speak so loudly, the world will stop to listen. There's a strange thing about wealth most people never learn until it's too late. It doesn't need to announce itself. Real wealth is quiet. It doesn't drive down the street screaming for attention. It moves with calm confidence. The ones who are truly secure don't feel the need to prove it. You see, loud success often hides a fragile foundation, while quiet success is built on peace, structure, and long-term thinking. The rich stay rich not because they talk about it, but because they know when to stay silent. I've met people who made a lot of money, but you'd never know it. They don't flash their bank balance, they don't need applause, and they don't chase validation. Why? Because their wealth isn't in the car they drive or the suit they wear. It's in their ability to sleep peacefully at night, knowing they own their time, their choices, and their future. They don't rent approval, they own freedom. And that kind of wealth doesn't shout, it whispers. When I was younger, I too was tempted by the glitter. I thought success meant showing people how far I'd come. I wanted others to see my progress, to admire it. But then I noticed something. Every time I spent to impress, I weakened the very foundation I was trying to prove existed. The truly wealthy people around me weren't trying to impress anyone. They were too busy protecting and multiplying their assets. They weren't chasing praise, they were chasing peace. That's when I realized the louder the show, the emptier the bank. Wealth is not what you buy, it's what you build. It's not how much you spend, it's how long your money works for you after you stop working. So avoid that constant urge to prove your success with possessions. Every time you feel that need to show off, pause and ask, who am I trying to convince? Because true confidence never seeks confirmation. It just is. Instead of wearing your wealth, wear your wisdom. Let humility be your luxury. It's the rarest, most valuable fabric in the world. Start investing in things that grow quietly, assets that don't scream but work while you rest. Real estate, stocks, businesses, skills, these are the seeds that bloom without noise. You won't get applause today, but you'll get freedom tomorrow. And that freedom is priceless. The best kind of wealth doesn't draw attention. It commands respect through results. So remember, confidence needs no decoration. You don't have to flash your success for it to be real. In fact, the moment you stop trying to be seen, you start being respected. The quiet builder always outlasts the loud performer. Let your security, your peace of mind, and your silent consistency speak for you. Because when wealth is real, it never has to shout, its presence is enough. Success rarely shows up in the spotlight. It begins long before the curtain rises. What looks like luck to most people is simply preparation meeting opportunity. I've seen it countless times. Someone lands the deal, the job, the chance everyone wanted, and people whisper, "He's so lucky." But if you look closer, you'll find that luck had little to do with it. That person had been preparing quietly for years, sharpening their skills, thinking ahead, rehearsing their response to a door that hadn't yet appeared. When opportunity knocked, they didn't scramble. They simply answered because they were ready. When I was young, I used to wish for big breaks. I wanted things to happen quickly, more income, better business, greater influence. But the truth is, life was just testing me to see if I could handle the success I was asking for. Opportunity doesn't reward desire. It rewards discipline. If you prepare in silence, life will reward you in public. But if you ignore preparation, you'll miss your moment, even when it's standing right in front of you. Because here's the simple truth. When opportunity arrives, it's too late to prepare. The ones who appear lucky are simply ready. They've been learning quietly while others were distracted. They've been practicing discipline while others were scrolling, studying while others were sleeping, building while others were boasting. That's the difference. Success doesn't announce its arrival. It just shows up one day. And those who have prepared greet it with confidence instead of panic. I always tell people spend at least 1 hour a day learning something that compounds. Don't waste your time chasing quick results. Invest it in mastery. Read, study, write, listen, observe. Build your capacity before the demand arrives. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your preparation. So, prepare deeply. Learn something every day that strengthens the foundation you stand on. Anticipate challenges before they appear. Most people are reactive. They prepare only after something goes wrong. But the wise prepare before. They think through scenarios, plan for setbacks, and build margins of safety into their lives. That's not paranoia, that's prudence. Preparation isn't fear, it's foresight. And it turns what could be chaos into calm confidence. I've kept notebooks for decades, filled with ideas, insights, lessons, reflections. Every page is a record of preparation. Because clarity loves company. It comes when you write things down, when you reflect on what worked and what didn't. Most people chase clarity in conversation. I find it in contemplation. Those notebooks became the blueprints for my decisions, my speeches, my investments. Preparation loves clarity, and clarity only comes through attention. So don't wait for the opportunity to prepare. Prepare for the opportunity to arrive. Do the invisible work, the quiet work, the work no one praises or notices today. Because one day, that work will be the reason everyone calls you lucky. But you'll know better. You'll know it was just preparation paying off in public. If there's one thing I've learned about success, it's that the greatest wealth you'll ever possess isn't in your bank account. It's in your hours. Time is more valuable than money because while you can always make more money, you can never make more time. Once a day is gone, it's gone forever, and what you traded it for reveals who you truly are becoming. Most people don't lose success because they lack talent or opportunity. They lose it one wasted hour at a time. The wealthy understand this truth deeply. They don't spend time, they invest it. They know that every minute can either multiply or disappear, and that choice determines their destiny. I remember a season in my life when I was busy but not productive. I confused movement with progress, mistaking a full calendar for a fulfilled purpose. I learned painfully that being busy is the enemy of being effective. The goal is not to fill your time, it's to focus it. So I began scheduling my priorities instead of prioritizing my schedule. I asked myself, what are the 2 or 3 things today that will truly move me toward my long-term vision? And I guarded those hours as if my life depended on them, because it did. Wealth isn't created in scattered effort. It's created in concentrated attention. You see, the difference between the poor and the wealthy isn't just in how they think about money, it's how they think about time. The poor see time as something to kill, the wealthy see time as something to cultivate. Every minute you waste is a seed you never planted. Every distraction is a thief dressed as entertainment. The question is, how much of your future are you giving away to things that add nothing to your growth? To live a wealthy life, you must eliminate low-value activities that produce no long-term reward. Audit your day. Look at how you spend your hours. Are they building your dreams or someone else's? You'll find that the things that truly matter, learning, planning, thinking, connecting, rarely feel urgent, but they always prove important. The challenge is to protect them before life's noise swallows them whole. I make it a daily ritual to spend quiet time planning. No phone, no interruptions, just reflection and focus. That single hour of clarity often saves me 10 hours of confusion. It's where ideas form, decisions align, and priorities reset. Most people are too busy living reactively to ever think proactively. But clarity is the ultimate time multiplier. It makes every following action sharper and more effective. So guard your time like treasure. Treat it as the most precious asset you own, because it is. Don't just measure your days by what you did, measure them by what they built. The real rich don't count dollars first, they count disciplined hours. Because if you learn to master time, money will have no choice but to follow. There's something more valuable than even money, and that's your energy. You can earn more income, but you can't replenish a drained spirit. Energy is the fuel of your focus, the foundation of your decisions, and the invisible currency behind every success story. You can't live a positive life with a negative attitude. It's impossible. Your mind is the seedbed of all wealth, and if you don't guard it, the weeds of negativity will choke out your potential before it ever has the chance to bloom. I used to think that my biggest challenges were external, the economy, competition, timing. But I learned that the real battlefield is internal. The quality of your results will always mirror the quality of your mindset. You can't plant seeds of doubt and expect a harvest of confidence. You can't feed your mind with negativity and expect your spirit to produce prosperity. That's like expecting an orchard to grow after watering it with poison. The mind responds to what you feed it, and every thought you entertain is a seed you've chosen to plant. That's why protecting your energy is just as important as protecting your money. The wealthy know this instinctively. They are careful about what they allow into their minds, what they read, who they listen to, the conversations they entertain. Because they understand that ideas are contagious. Spend enough time around complainers, and you'll find yourself complaining. Spend time with visionaries, and you'll find yourself seeing farther. You must become a gatekeeper of your energy, not out of arrogance, but out of responsibility. I make it a daily discipline to begin and end each day with reflection or meditation. In the morning, I prepare my mind for what's ahead. In the evening, I release the weight of the day. Those quiet moments are where direction is found and peace is renewed. The mind needs stillness the same way the body needs sleep. Without reflection, you're just reacting to life instead of creating it. You must also limit your exposure to negativity. Protect your focus the way a gardener protects young plants from frost. Avoid the conversations, media, and environments that drain you. You don't owe everyone access to your attention. Your energy is a finite resource. Every distraction you entertain takes something from your future. The key is not to isolate yourself, but to insulate yourself. Build boundaries that keep your mind fertile and your emotions strong. And finally, keep gratitude lists. Write down what's going right in your life. It sounds simple, but gratitude is the soil where abundance grows. A grateful heart attracts opportunity because it sees possibility where others see lack. When you start to appreciate what you have, you naturally begin to attract more of it. So protect your energy as you protect your money. Your mind is your greatest investment account, and your attitude determines its return. Guard it with the same vigilance you'd guard a fortune, because that's exactly what it is, the fortune from which all others grow. One of the greatest traps in modern life is the need for approval, that subtle, relentless desire to be seen, praised, or validated. We live in a world where everyone's trying to look successful before they actually become it. But the truth is, you don't build a rich life by impressing others, you build it by improving yourself. Approval is fleeting, but growth is permanent. The real test of success is not how loudly people applaud when you win, but how quietly you grow when no one's watching. I remember early in my journey, I spent too much energy trying to look the part. I wanted people to notice my effort, to say, "He's really doing well." But I learned that applause doesn't pay the bills, and opinions don't compound interest. When I stopped chasing approval and started chasing growth, everything changed. You see, the wealthy don't measure their worth by recognition, they measure it by results. They care less about being seen and more about becoming capable. Because when you grow enough, the results start speaking for you, and that voice is louder and more credible than any praise could ever be. So replace the question, "How do I look?" with, "What did I learn?" The mirror won't make you rich, but your mindset will. Every mistake, every failure, every long night spent learning instead of performing, that's where the real wealth builds. Growth is quiet, it doesn't show off, but it transforms you from the inside out. Approval feeds the ego, growth feeds the future. I make it a habit to review my progress monthly, not to see how I compare to anyone else, but to measure whether I'm more disciplined, more focused, more consistent than I was 30 days ago. You don't have to move mountains every month, just move yourself. Track your habits, your learning, your follow through. The wealthy don't count likes, they count lessons. They don't measure reputation, they measure resilience. And when you start focusing on growth, something interesting happens, your life becomes evidence. You no longer have to convince people that you're becoming successful. They can see it in your confidence, your decisions, your results. That's what I mean when I say, let your evolution be your evidence. When you grow enough, the transformation will speak louder than any introduction. Approval may make you feel good for a moment, but growth will make you capable for a lifetime. So be less interested in applause and more interested in advancement. Don't seek to be impressive, seek to be improved. Because the day you stop performing for others and start improving for yourself, that's the day your success becomes unstoppable. When you make growth your measurement, you no longer chase validation, you attract it effortlessly. And that's when you truly begin to live wealthy from the inside out. Most people wait for opportunity to knock before they start getting ready, but by the time the knock comes, it's already too late. Opportunity doesn't wait for the unprepared. It rewards those who were quietly working long before anyone was watching. Preparation, my friends, is the invisible foundation of visible success. The people you call lucky are often just those who prepared in silence for the moment you're only now noticing. What looks like luck on the surface is simply the meeting of preparation and opportunity beneath it. When I was a young man, I thought success came from chance, from being in the right place at the right time. Then I met a mentor who told me, "Son, it's not about being in the right place. It's about being the right person when that place appears." That shifted my thinking entirely. You can't control when opportunity arrives, but you can control how ready you are when it does. Preparation is what turns chance into choice. It's the quiet discipline that happens long before the lights turn on. So I made it a habit to spend 1 hour a day learning something that could compound over time, a new skill, a new principle, a deeper understanding of the world around me. That hour might not show immediate results, but day after day, it stacked up. Years later, people called me talented, but what they were really seeing was years of invisible preparation. Talent is just discipline time, refined through consistent effort. Preparation also means anticipating challenges before they appear. Too many people live in reaction mode, scrambling when life throws them a curveball. But those who succeed the most are those who think ahead, who build systems that protect them from chaos. Don't wait for the storm to prepare the shelter. Learn to forecast, to foresee, to fortify before the test arrives. It's much easier to stay ready than to get ready. I've always kept notebooks filled with lessons, insights, reflections, and plans. Because preparation loves clarity. The mind becomes sharper when it's organized. Writing forces you to process, and in processing, you prepare. I can't tell you how many times those notes have saved me. A quote remembered, an idea refined, a strategy outlined years earlier suddenly becoming relevant. That's the beauty of preparation. You may not always know what you're preparing for, but when the moment comes, you'll know why you did. The truth is, success doesn't happen in the spotlight. It's born in the shadows of quiet, consistent preparation. When the world finally sees your results, they'll think you got there overnight, but you'll know it took years of early mornings, late nights, and daily discipline. So never underestimate the quiet power of preparation. Because when opportunity finally arrives, the only question that matters will be this: are you ready?